Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Autism Digest. I am Dani Bowman, founder and CEO of Danimation Entertainment, an animation company that I started that I've been running for about 15 years of educating, elevating, empowering people on the spectrum. And you also may know me from the Netflix hit series Love on the Spectrum. I appear in both seasons. And I'm so happy to be here to be interviewed by Autism Digest.
Thank you,
Well,
Dani. That was an excellent introduction.
yeah, it
Love it.
was fantastic.
So I'm Lois. I'm one of the publishers of Autism Digest, and we are so happy to have Dani here with us this morning. Thanks for stopping by, Dani.
My
Oh,
name's
sure, no
Matthew.
problem.
Well, and I'm also a publisher of Autism Digest. Matthew Gigmas here, and thanks so much for meeting with us. We really love your work, and you do lots of work. So I think that'll be fun for people to learn about, just like the layers of things that you do outside of the Netflix series, because you have a complete career on your own, doing your own work. So we're really excited to talk to you about it.
Yes, definitely. I can't wait to talk to you about how I got my company started and also about my autism traits and what led me to start. I can't wait to talk about some of the journeys of growing up as
Excellent.
a person on the spectrum and being on the show Love on the Spectrum.
Excellent. Excellent. I know a lot of people want to hear about that. How one young lady grew up to be so incredibly talented and multidimensional. So, however, before we get into that, I'm a speech therapist, and so is Matthew. So there's a very curious thing that I know about you is when you were younger, you had difficulty just communicating. And that's a challenge for a lot of people on the autism spectrum. Some folks can't speak at all. So it's a very difficult challenge, but you have kind of a unique story and a unique journey through that. And it kind of surrounds your love for animation. And I know your family helped you through it. So in your own words, can you tell us a little bit about how you began communicating?
Oh, definitely, sure. So I always have love for animation ever since I could remember. I was animating before I could speak because I didn't speak till I was almost 6. But by age 4 or 5, when I was watching my animation VHS, I used to play stop, rewind all day long. I think my family was confused as why I kept rewinding the same film over and over again, but all I was doing was stopping at the same spot, just a microsecond forward, and I figured out that they were just drawings that were moved a little bit. So I tried to replicate that with my plush toys and a camera. I would take a picture, move them, take a picture, move them, take another picture, and I would repeat the process till the film is finished. Then I would ask my parents to develop the pictures, and then I would wait till I get my little hands on the prints and I flip the pictures to watch the movie.
That's
So yeah,
very clever to figure that out. It's something that I thought was really interesting when we talked earlier about that, how you were able to break down something so complicated into tiny little bits of information, and then from there be able to figure out animation. I don't think most people actually even know how animation works. So
but I was not aware that this is called animation. So yeah, I was doing stop motion animation before I realized I was doing animation. My family used animation as a way to reach out to reach me rather than taking it away. As a matter of fact, they encouraged it. So animation became the link to unlock my world. For example, like with many people with autism, I had a hard time understanding people's facial expressions. And when I was young, I avoided eye contact because looking at people's faces used to frighten me. There's something special, something magical about cartoons. They captivate me and provided a sense of comfort. Their faces, with their simplicity and expressiveness, offer a welcome contrast to the sometimes bewildering and uncanny expressions of real people. The vibrant colors, diverse personalities, and the kaleidoscope of shapes and sizes in each character created a tapestry of comfort around me. But what truly sets them apart is the emotions etched on their animated faces, teaching me the language of expressions, what it looked like to be happy, to be sad, to be mad. Growing up, my favorite cartoons became my tutors in the school of emotions. They revealed the intricacies of facial expressions and the nuances of body language, crucial elements in human communication. There's an undeniable correlation between animated stories and the rich tapestry of human interaction. That's why animation became more than just entertainment for me. It became a vital tool in understanding the world. It illuminated the path of my neurodiverse journey, offering insights into emotions, expressions, and communication. Most significantly, my deep connection with animation intertwined with my journey through animation has bestowed upon me a profound sense of purpose in life. But did animation help me with my speech? Nope, not at first. But what helped me in the beginning with my speech therapy was music therapy. So, for example, as a child at Chuck E. Cheese, Chuck E. Cheese used to be my favorite place. Let's pull up that one slide because of the animatronics that would sing the happy birthday song, and I learned to sing along. But don't get me wrong, I adored this place. However, there was a little musical hiccup that made the celebration a bit challenging. The electric guitar, relentless and annoying pitch in the background music, drove me nuts. So, what was my ingenious solution? Earmuffs. Full coverage all the time. Loud noises? They've always been a thorn in my side. And spoiler alert, they still are. But
I can relate. I can relate.
it is.
I'm sorry to jump in. I was curious about how watching that, even though you're watching cartoons, you said it didn't help with your speech. Some people have said that it has helped them. And I was wondering what was it about watching the cartoon speak that you found that didn't help you with speaking? That was the part I was curious about.
Well, it's actually this that they're talking. I couldn't really understand the full sentences. I could I somewhat understand what they're saying in English. It felt foreign to me. You could say that autism is my first language while English is my second language. I hear them talking like wah 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 when I was like a little kid.
So,
But
Danny, we have a question. I put it on the screen if you see it. Jose Julian Cardova says he has a kiddo, 14. He's great at drawing. What can he do and how can he get him involved? He was diagnosed at 4.5.
I think what he could do. So he's okay. Let me just get this straight. So what you could do to get him involved is to get to his world of animation, typically by interacting with him of his favorite animations, and then you ask him, what part of animations do you like? Can you show me? Just ask him to show you the world of what he's doing, and then try to interact, and then eventually just bring them back to the world. Just reel them into the real world. Have them share your world a little bit at a time.
Excellent. Thank you, Danny.
So anyways, let's just show you, moving on to continue with Mr. Munch's make-believe band. Let's go to the slide with Mr. Munch's make-believe band.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, I discovered that I'm not the enemy of loud music. I just need to vibe with a song. Enter the magical revelation that loud becomes lovely when the beats are right. And you know what became my secret weapon for cracking the code of speech? Singing along. This unconventional music therapy turned out to be a game changer on my journey to finding my voice. So that wasn't the only magic at the time. So when I was 5, one of my gifts that I unwrapped for my 5th birthday turned out to be the crucial player in the Learning to Talk saga. Does anybody remember this? It was the VTech Little Smart Phonics from A to Z. So this magical device became one of the cornerstones of my journey to speech. But back then, my repertoire was heavy on the ukulele. It was all parts of the process. However, the real breakthrough came when I realized that using my words was the ticket to getting what I wanted around the house. The make noise strategy was effective, sure, but there was a whole new level of empowerment in expressing myself verbally. Of course, Getting there wasn't a walk in the park, cue the early crying episodes. My family had to master the art of holding back until I used my words. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. But with time and persistence, I cracked the code. And how did I crack the code? Well, my family used my love for animation to help me express myself with the animation words at first. Then I started piecing my own words together eventually. So remember, keep in mind that was over 25 years ago. There wasn't much ABA therapy, or at least good ABA therapy back then. Things have changed a lot then in the ABA world, thank goodness, but there's still work to be done. So that's how I started, by using my love for animation and music therapy by singing along to my favorite animation songs and the Mr. Munch's music band, saying happy birthday song, clap your hands, stomp your feet thing. And my family not giving in to my crying episodes unless I use my words.
Excellent. I love that. I love that story. That is so, oh God, I would say profound and important. Being like I said, Matthew and I are both speech therapists. People forget it's not flashcards. It's not drill, drill, drill. It's make it important, and then it happens. Make it worth something. Make speech worth something. If you want something, you have to try to say it, or you have to type it or write it or do something other than, like you say, making noise.
Yes, and especially because I remember during preschool, I was even though it was so much fun listening to their songs, it just gets but it also has to do with the balance of the songs, like the Good Morning song and the Months of the Year song. Those are so much interactive. But I also had language arts assignments that helped me learn how to read sentences.
Very important.
I had a quick question. How did that feel when you realize, oh, when I speak words, everyone else understands me in addition to my family?
Well, when I say words, I got really excited that I say to myself, like, I can talk. I remember when I was watching at the time Charlotte's Web. Does anybody remember Charlotte's Web, the original animated Hanna-Barbera cartoon movie? I remembered one of my favorite songs was I Can Talk. I can talk. I had the same feeling as Wilbur when he sings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love that that music was such a key part in helping you just learn, because language is very hard. It's easy to forget how hard it is to learn to talk any language, and that the advice that you're giving, or just the insights you're giving, I think can be very helpful for lots of people, because it points out, if start with things kids are interested in, and then and then expand to, well, here's how you can change your environment. Here's how people can understand you by using words. And this is something we talk to as speech therapists or speech pathologists. We talk to lots of people about this. It's especially good coming from you, because this is your lived experience.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And now, Dani, you are a very successful businesswoman. You are a CEO of Danimation. Can you express some of the challenges that were there? Some of the moments you had?
Well, I would have to say that my aunt and uncle were the first ones who believed in me and supported me, even though I was just 11 years old when I first came up with the idea of my company, Danimation. And during that time, they were running their own business. Let me just pull up one slide there. Sure. Okay, so that's me when I started my company. So during that time, they were running their own business. So I thought it was normal for everyone to have their own business. I asked my aunt, how could I start my own business? So she explained to me some basic details, but I don't think she took me seriously because I was just 11. But to tell you the truth, I didn't realize how hard it would actually be to run a company.
Yes.
However, my aunt and uncle did take me serious later on and helped me develop my company by helping me create a website and start prioritizing my schedule, because I was just 11.
That's a very young business owner. But hey, look, I mean, you think of all the time that you've put in at this point, having started so early.
Yeah, but I didn't understand I had to finish all my schoolwork before working on my animation work if I had my own way. Because if I had my way, then I would only focus on animation. You see, they
Hmm.
didn't tell me I couldn't do it. They just showed me what I needed to do to make it happen. And they really explained the reality of running a business, which basically it was going to be really hard.
Yes.
And as I got older, I realized not so easy. Well, ever since I've been learning how to run a business while I'm running a business, and it could be
Yes.
really complicated, but I have never given up. And some of the challenges I have was getting the proper education to learn about the business. That's why I decided to go for my MBA. And as an artist with a BFA in animation, and then learning about business was not easy. It's like switching from the creative side of the brain to the logic side.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I received my magna cum laude in BFA in my BFA in animation, I was hesitant to switch to business. But I learned I can do whatever I set my mind to, and I ended up getting a summa cum laude for my MBA in global strategy and leadership. So,
Wow.
I am the world. Seriously.
Well, you're at the top of the world for business, and now you're actually a star too. That's
Oh,
so
thank you.
incredible.
Oh,
We,
thank
can you share some of your favorite moments and experiences on Love on the Spectrum and how that's actually impacted your personal life?
Well, there are so many parts from being part of this show. One of my favorite parts was getting help and advice from my dating coach, Jennifer Cook, especially on how to approach intimacy. The reason why it
Mhm.
was important for me to bring up that conversation to my date was because I have a lot of friends on the spectrum that are asexual, which means they want a relationship, but no intimacy. And that's okay for them. But for me, I was looking for a relationship that includes intimacy, and I wanted both of us to be on the same page. I knew it was going to be an awkward conversation for people to see me asking that question, but I felt it was an important conversation to have with my date to be sure we're on the same page as far as what we would like from a relationship eventually, of course. So we were good, but we're taking it slow. Another
Got
favorite Another favorite is how respectful the film crew have been, including how they accommodate my schedules and allowing me to be myself. As a matter of fact, I was the instigator who approached the director of Love in the Spectrum, asked him if it was okay to talk about intimacy, and he gave me the green light. I know I opened up the conversation, and that would open up the floodgates to trolls and haters. But sheesh, come on, people, grow up. We're all adults. I'm 29 years old, and Love on the Spectrum does a great job featuring the spectrum and our differences from the very innocent and sweet to some of us, like me, that want adult relationships that includes intimacy. And I wanted to show those differences between us.
Mhm. Excellent,
I thought that
excellent.
was so important because it is about adults, you know, and I think that was did an excellent job just expanding the conversation. And I remember just when we talked earlier about one of the things that you had mentioned is to try to reduce infantilizing adults who are autistic, and I thought that was a really super important position to have. So I
It is
appreciate
true.
you
The
saying
conversation has to continue. We must continue the conversation to keep adults on the autism spectrum, neurotypicals and neurodiverse alike, to keep themselves safe from any signs of danger,
Mhm,
especially because there's predators out there.
mhm. Yes, that's scary. It's scary for everybody because there's a lot of predators, and yes, so I'm glad that you're keeping your eyes open for sure.
Thank you.
So how does Love on the Spectrum, the TV show, compare to real life, Danny? Is it the same? Are you having the same experiences? Is there any differences?
Well, a couple of them. So I would say a couple of main differences for me is when it came to real life dating and dating on Love on the Spectrum was going on blind dates and speed dating.
Ooh.
These were completely new to me. Before the show, everyone in the past that I dated, I knew for a while as friends before going on a date. Most of the time, the show did capture my challenges and triumphs of navigating relationships, which I am happy about, except for my first experience in season 1 because like I said, I never been on a blind date before. I thought it was like a regular date, like any dates I had in the past.
Hmm.
So I got carried away by his looks and his charm. What I learned, what I learned from this experience is to never judge the book by its cover.
Hmm.
I had never acted that way with a perfect stranger, and I did learn my lesson. Never do that again, even if you're attracted to their looks.
Hmm.
Although it was exciting to meet somebody new, but at the end of the day, he was a complete stranger.
Yeah, I thought that that was a kind of an interesting twist that they put in the show, just showing people meeting for the first time and then seeing what things they talk about. What do you talk about? Just for anyone, you don't know someone, they're a stranger, and you're on a date. What do you talk about? How does it feel? And I think it's great to hear just your perspective about it, because I think anyone who's gone on blind dates could probably relate. And
That is true. And this could lead to so many consequences. Like you just met this person. You don't know who this person is. You never dive deep into the conversation. So that's why it's important for me to take things slowly before jumping into a relationship, before jumping into like kissing on the first date. Big mistake.
well, I was curious, just building on just your experience on the show, and then also just in your, your professional life. Well, how do those things work together in terms of spending time being filmed and such on Love on the Spectrum, and then you're running your company, and then I was surprised to hear there are lots of layers to your company. It's not just you're making animation. Maybe you could talk about balancing what you do at your company with like being on the show too.
Yes, because it's always been one of my biggest challenges I have, besides getting the education, is staying focused on the business side. Because sometimes all I want to do is focus on my animation project, but other times I just want to balance. It's about keeping a balance, keeping my schedule balanced. I get so many that's when whenever I have the schedule conflict, I talk to my team like Sandy and Patrick to see if we could just compromise by teaching a student and then eventually leave early and go get filmed. So what we do is that we do have a calendar system. We have our calendars. We check our calendars to see if it's accommodating before we make this commitment. And the good thing about the Love in the Spectrum team is they're very accommodating. They're incredibly flexible about their filming schedules.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Sounds like you're turning into a bit of a producer too.
I know, that's like so much stuff to keep track of. That's very interesting. Just being able to, I mean, because that's a big project, being on that, and then as you know, being a business owner, running a business. A lot of times, just running a business by itself is all people can do, let alone star on an Emmy-winning show. So, I think that's very impressive, and it's interesting to hear. Probably for the listeners and people watching this and who will read about it later, how do people do this? And you're talking about calendars and managing your time. I think that's great advice for anyone.
And I've got most important advices for anybody that wants to start their companies. So if anybody that would like to start their companies, I've got some advices here. So first of all, let's just pull up one slide, please. I don't know if I could just open it up. How do you open this up?
There you go.
Okay, so first of all, there is no age limit for anyone that wants to start a company. Second, it's okay to ask for help. Nobody does it alone. And get a strong team behind you that really believe in you and your mission, just like Sandy and Patrick that helped me. Third, it's important to get out of your comfort zone. Push yourself because nobody's really going to do it for you. Diligence and organizations are the keys to a successful business. Fourth, don't fear the failure. Everyone fails at one time or another. That is part of the learning process. No matter how bad failure may feel, you must keep trying as long as you can. However, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has different career paths. That is the reason why you must find your passion first. Always be grateful for what you already have, and you will attract more good things. And take advantage of many networking opportunities depending on your passion and field. Take classes outside of college based on your passion and go to conferences and events. Remember, it's not just about what you know, it's who you know. And always remember, if you can see it, you can be it.
That is terrific advice.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to say that's excellent. Also, Dani, you got a couple folks here saying hello to you from Noah from Sacramento and Despina from Melbourne, Australia.
That's so exciting. Hello, everybody. Hello, guests. I'm so happy to answer your questions. If you have any questions, it looks like I've got some. I'm reading the comments right now. Some people are saying hello, and Joseph says, "Thank you, Dani. People like you gives us parents comfort. Our kiddo is growing fast, and knowing that this gives us hope. And thank you for all of your therapists. You guys or gals are so influential in our lives." Oh, I thank you so much, Jose. And Manini says, "Hi, Dani. I'm a huge fan. Thanks for speaking out with us. I like what you said about pushing your comfort zone. How do you stay motivated when you feel scared or discouraged? Do you have tips on how you can help students when they want to give up? If you mean like give up something, maybe if they want to give up in life. But remember, giving up is not an option. So I think if you don't get not giving up means there is still chances. There are still plenty of chances to do in life. Life has so many other wonderful things. There's no need. It's not necessary to quit. It's not the end. And how do you help someone? So how do you help? Just encourage them. Just show them that there's more opportunities and show them that it is important to bounce back. I know I've experienced failures in my life a couple of times, but I think about it. I look back at the positive, bright sides of what I've done in the past, and I move forward. What I do is I take breaks, think about it, analyze, and move on.
Right. Excellent.
Help them develop their passion.
Yes. My grandma used to say, it's not how far you fall, but how far you bounce. So it sounds like exactly what you said.
That is terrific advice.
I really love that advice. I like that advice that your grandma just said. I'll take that. I'll take that word.
Oh, that's great. So Dani, I just want to thank you. This has been awesome. It's great. Thank you for interacting with our guests and answering their questions and just giving all your wisdom this morning. This has been really nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Anytime. And thank you for having me to be on the show. And Manny says, that's great. Thank you. So if anybody that is interested in contacting me, you can find me on Instagram. Find me under Dani Bowman 1 on Instagram and TikTok. Or find me as Danimation ENT on X. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Dani Bowman and Danimation Entertainment. Or you could just Google me. And if any students that are interested in attending our free introduction animation class website, so you can go to daniacademy.com/free, so you can help enroll your child, whether they're on the autism spectrum or not interested in animation. We will teach the introduction of animation.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We'll make sure we get those links on our social media so that people can just hit the link. So those will be up in a little bit.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being on. Thank you for being on and sharing all your very wise words, very important words for parents, also for business owners too. I think that was an extra valuable piece that you shared. So Thanks
My
again for
pleasure.
meeting with us.
It's always been my pleasure. Likewise.
All right. Well, take care.